was the greatest political change you saw develop during the 90s or 80s and 90s, and how did you vote and feel about these matters?
I didn't feel that there was a lot of change going on in them 20 years as compared to what there is today. Republicans were in power 12 of those 20 years. There was, and I maintained voting Republican throughout. There was some gun law issues, and I voted appropriately against the gun laws with the Republicans. Other than that, it seemed to be just politics as usual. But they seem to work together a lot better. A Republican president could work with a Democratic Congress and vice versa way better. I didn't see a lot of change.
Did your economic position in society improve or decline during the 80s and 90s?
It definitely improved. The 70s, late 70s were terrible economically. Gas shortages, inflation, super high interest rates. You couldn't hardly afford to buy a home with the mortgage rates at 18-19%. And jobs were tough that way too. And then as you got into the mid-80s and that, the economy started to shine, the interest rate come down, inflation come down, the gas shortages went away, and the jobs come back. And I prospered.
What is the greatest difference between your life now and what it was like in the 80s and 90s?
This country is so divided now, I guess that's one of the main things. My dollar doesn't have the buying power where this country carries way too much debt, way too high interest rate, way too high inflation. You don't have as much money as what you used to have. And the country's become way liberal, way social programs and people's feelings and minority groups getting most out of everything more than the majority groups, and that doesn't equal out. We were all more equal back in the 80s and 90s.
How did the end of the Cold War affect American lives?
I just think it made us all more pleasant and all more at ease. And personally, I knew I wasn't going to get drafted into the Third World War.